Hi everyone, and welcome back to Tea Time Diaries. In today's video, I just want to share a couple of things with you guys. There are a couple of teacups that I purchased recently that I want to share, as well as a few other things that I wanted to share with you. I am preparing to have my annual spring tea party. It's a little late in the month. I usually try to have it done before the beginning of spring, or like at the week when spring began, but it's been really busy. I'm in a really busy season of my life, just going back to school and a lot of things going on at work. So yeah, maybe you're in the same season and can comment below, or at least kind of empathize with that. But in any case, it's a little later than I anticipated, but I'm hoping to be able to do it soon, within the next few days. So I wanted to prepare for that, and I wanted to bake some scones. Well, I'm gonna bake some scones today to see how they come out, because I like to play with recipes before the hosting the tea party. Obviously, I want to make sure that the food that I'm putting out is delicious, and so I'm trying a new recipe. One of the recipes I've already used. So last year in the spring tea party that I had, which was cherry blossom themed, I made cherry blossom scones with chocolate chips. So I'm going to do the same thing this year, except I'm going to be using carob chips instead of chocolate chips, and I'll show you what carob chips are just in case you're unfamiliar. But that's a similar recipe, so I'm not worried about those. I know those are going to taste great, but there is a new scone recipe that I'm going to be trying today. And so the idea is I want to make a big batch so that I can make half of it, right, for me and my family for today, and then that way I can share with you, on how the scones taste and if I like them. Again, particularly the new recipe, and then I'm gonna freeze the other half. So this way, on the day of the tea party, I have the scones ready, and it's one less thing, off of my list of things to do when I'm hosting a tea party. So I want to share the scones with you guys, the recipe with you, and like I said, just kind of talk about different things that I have been doing and things that I purchased in preparation for the tea party. So yeah, just a quick video to kind of check in, to let you guys know that I am working on my spring tea party, and that I should be able to post that video soon. And then just kind of share again the new scone recipe and just what I do to prepare for an upcoming tea party. So hopefully you guys enjoy this, and let's go ahead and get started with the video. All right, guys, before I start baking, I just wanted to share with you some of the things that I purchased recently. And so we'll start off with these two teacups that I purchased, and I did share this on my Instagram page. So if you have Instagram and you want to follow me at Tea Time Diaries, please go ahead and do that. I'll leave my Instagram handle in the description box so that you can find me easily. But I did share it in real time the day that I purchased them. And so I went to a flea market. There is a really great flea market that I love to go to, and obviously with flea markets, it's not guaranteed that you're gonna find what you're looking for, but when you do, I always score really well when I go there and I find stuff that I absolutely love. So it doesn't happen every time I go, but there are moments where it's like the flea market gods are on my side. So let's go ahead and take a look at these teacups. These are both Royal Albert, and I bought them both from the same woman who had all of like beautiful different items on her table. And the best thing about these teacups was the price. And I'll tell you that in a minute, but let's take a look at them. So this is what the first teacup looks like. And this is from the Royal Albert. I don't know if it's from a Mayflower collection or if this is just the name of the teacup. I'm thinking this is just the name of the teacup. Usually there's a collection name and then there might be like an additional name for the teacup itself. So I'm not 100% sure. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but nonetheless, it's called Mayflower and it's really beautiful. This is the saucer and it shows the price. This is what she was selling the cup and the saucer for. She was selling it for $10, which is a great price, but I got it for less. Look at this beautiful teacup. I love it. I love the shape of this one. It has this scallop detail here on the upper portion of the teacup, and then I just love this ribbed edging here on the bottom. It's just really detailed and beautiful. And this one doesn't have a collection name or a teacup name. It just says Royal Albert bone china on it. So, but it's really beautiful. This is the saucer, and same thing. She was selling it for $10. So I asked her, because it is a flea market and you are allowed to bargain reasonably, I asked her if I could get both for $15 instead of getting them both for $20. And she was super nice. She said yes right away, and I was a happy camper because I got both of these beautiful teacups for $15, which I think they're just both so beautiful and so amazing for spring. So I definitely plan to use these in my upcoming spring themed tea party. So that was the first, those were the first items that I wanted to show you. Next is this, and I also found this at the flea market, and you guys are going to be so shocked when you hear how much I paid for this, but this was from a different table. This person had a lot of different items on the table. Some of them were not as pleasing, so I guess my advice for flea markets is if you don't initially think you're going to find something at a table because of what you can see right away, don't let that deter you from looking, because you never know what you'll find. And I found this amongst a bunch of other things that I didn't really care for. But this is basically a notepad. So the teacup, this is a notepad, right? These are the pages look like little teacups, and it's so pretty. I love this. I can't wait to start using it. And then it came with a pen. And then of course this is a stand where you would place the notepad and the pen. And I love the stand because if I flip it around, it says breakfast tea. Isn't that so cute? I love it. It's gorgeous. I love it. I mean, it looks like something older, probably that my grandmother would have owned, but I love it. It's really sweet and precious. So I was really excited when I saw this, and this doesn't have a price on it because she was selling everything on her table for $1. So I paid $1 for this beautiful stationery set, and I was just obviously very, very happy with this purchase. So yeah, really cute. So don't be discouraged if you don't see a lot of things on the table right away. Go and dig, because you might find a treasure. All right, this I did not purchase at the flea market. This I purchased at, I think from the brand, this has to be from Michael's, I think. And the reason why I don't remember, guys, is because I purchased this a while back, and I've been having this amongst my things for quite some time. So I don't remember where I got it from, but I think this is from Michael's. And these are, of course, place cards. And I do plan on using them as place cards for the upcoming spring themed tea party. And I'm not going to give you too many details about it because I don't want to ruin it for you, but I am going to share a few things with you. So first, the place cards. Now, over here, pardon the mic, I'm going to move it so I can show you everything else. These plates I purchased at Home Goods a while ago, and you've seen these plates before because I did use them once before, and I still have the price tag on them. I have to remove that, but I've had these for a while, and I used these plates for a Mother's Day tea / brunch that I hosted a few years ago for my mom and for my sister. And I'm going to reuse them again because I only used them that one time, and I like to reuse my things, right? I don't want to have to go buy new dishes and new china for every single party that I host because it's not practical, right? Where am I going to store it? And then, of course, why am I spending so much money on things that when I have things at home that I can reuse? So I want to reuse these plates, and you're going to see that there's a couple different things that you can do to kind of give something that you've had for a while sort of a fresh look, fresh spin. So that's what I'm going to be doing for the upcoming spring tea. I'm going to use those plates, and then these items that I have here, these are new, and I purchased them at Hobby Lobby. I got these beautiful little flower place card holders, and of course they were on sale. Everything from their spring shop has been on sale for a couple weeks already, 40% off. So I think I paid a little over $1 for each of these. So I didn't want to get them all in the same color, but they only had 3 colors. So I have the purple, which is the same as this plate. Of course, the beige, and then the pink. If they would have had yellow or blue, I mean, that would have been perfect. But these were the only colors they had. So I decided to get 2 pink flowers and then a purple and a beige. Then I got these really pretty tea light candle holders that are shaped like tulips. And I think it's so adorable. So nice. And again, they only had the 2 colors, at least that I was able to see in the store. They only had the 2 colors. So I got a pink one and a blue one. So I will also be using that. At least that's the plan. It could change, but that is the plan for the party, to go ahead and use those. Now, the last thing that I'm going to share with you, I also shared this on Instagram. I picked this up at Aldi's, and I am so in love with the way that these tea bags look. So I got this earlier in the month. Like I said, I got them at Aldi's. This was not expensive. I think it doesn't have the price on it, but even in the back, look at how adorable. You're invited to a tea party. I mean, this is so stinking cute. It really is. And they have so many of them. I was tempted to buy more so I can give them as gifts, but I didn't. I just got the one. But look at how adorable. And the great thing about this is that these are all herbal teas, so no caffeine. So they're great even to give to like your nieces. If you celebrate Easter, you can do that for them. Or even if you just want to give them a cute little gift for spring, right? It's so adorable, right? And they have different little flavors. So they have berry crumble, lemon macaron, raspberry cookie, blueberry muffin, banana bread, strawberry shortcake. The flavors sound delicious, and I'm excited to try all of them. and I'm going to be serving these teas for my spring themed tea party. So I'm excited to try all of these flavors, and like I said, the packaging on this is just adorable. It really reminds me of like Beatrix Potter and her little creatures that she would, feature in her books, Peter Rabbit and such. So I think it's so adorable, and I'm excited to use them. So check out your local Aldi's. They might still have them, and purchase it because they're so cute. Even if you don't give them as gifts and you're just using it for yourself, I think that they're very cheerful and happy. I know that I would be very happy in the morning to have a cup of tea using these tea bags. So this is everything that I wanted to share, and now we can get to baking those scones. All right, guys, so I have everything ready here for the first batch of scones. And so this is the new recipe that I'm trying. These are lavender honey scones, and I'm really excited about these because I love lavender, and I love to have the chamomile lavender tea. It's popular with different brands. I usually get mine at Target. I like theirs. It comes in a tea bag, and it's pretty good, but I really wanted to try this. So I just wanted to show you what I'm using for the lavender. I will post the link to the recipe. I got it from Pinterest. So I'll post that just in case you want to make these. I purchased this on Amazon, and I can leave a link to that. This is culinary lavender. You have to use culinary lavender, and then they recommend that you crush the lavender as much as you can. I did the best that I could. I don't have a mortar and pestle, so I used a spoon, the back of a spoon, to crush it as much as I could. But I have all my dry ingredients here, and then I have my wet ingredients here. And so in the wet ingredients is where you would add the honey. So I'm just using golden honey from Amazon. I use Amazon Fresh. So it's their grocery brand honey. I'm sure if you had something organic or from a local farmer's market, that would probably be better, but this is what I'm using. And I added that to my wet ingredients. And then you guys know I try to keep things vegetarian, plant-based. So I'm using this Silk dairy-free heavy whipping cream, and I usually use a egg substitute, but my egg substitute actually it went bad, so I hadn't used it in a little while, so it wasn't good to use. So I just used a regular egg for my wet ingredients. And then I love to use this bourbon vanilla bean paste from Trader Joe's. I use that instead of the regular vanilla, and I like this much better. So this is going to be the first type of scone that I'm making, and I will show them to you once they come out of the oven, and then I'll show you what I'm using to make the next batch. So let me just move the camera around. If you've made scones before, then the base is always going to be the same. Flour, baking powder, sugar. You could use salt. I don't use salt because the butter that I use is salted, so I don't add any additional butter. But if your butter is unsalted, you can put some salt. And your wet ingredients are usually your eggs and your cream and your vanilla. And then you would add the other flavorings if you're doing something other than a traditional plain scone. So that's where the vanilla and the honey came into play. So I'm going to use the same bases for my next batch of scones. The only difference is I'm going to be using cherry blossom powder. Now this is my little setup in my kitchen for my tea. So I have my tea kettle. I have some teas here that I can grab quickly. But of course, I have my tea drawer where I have all of my teas, current teas that I'm loving. I have them in this drawer here. But what I want to show you is where I've been keeping my sakura or cherry blossom powder, and it's in this little container. So if you guys remember, I found this container. I don't remember. I think it was at a thrift. I definitely found this at like a thrift shop or antique shop, and I shared it in one of my previous videos if you guys remember. But this is where I've been keeping my cherry blossom or sakura powder. I keep it right in here. So I have this little spoon that also came with it. So I'm going to be using this cherry blossom powder in my base. So instead of using lavender for the next set of scones, I'm going to use the sakura powder, and I'm going to use chocolate chips. Except I said I'm using carob chips instead of chocolate chips. So let me get those so you can see. I have them stored away. Okay, so I've used them quite a bit already, but these are carob chips. Let me open this so you guys can see what they look like. So they look like a regular chocolate chip, but carob is a chocolate substitute. Sorry, I'm doing this with one hand, so it's a little difficult. Okay, so as you can see, they look like regular chocolate chips, but they're not chocolate, so they're allergen safe. If you know somebody who has allergies to chocolate, you can use carob chips. Or if you have someone who just doesn't want to do extra caffeine, that's me. I'm not allergic to chocolate, but I would prefer a caffeine-free option if I can. So I am using carob chips instead of chocolate chips. But the cherry blossom powder pairs really well with chocolate. And last year I made the scones with chocolate chips and the sakura powder, and it tasted really well. So I'm sure that with the carob chips, they're going to taste just as good. But that's going to be the differences between the two scones. One is going to be the cherry blossom with carob chips, and the other one is going to be the lavender honey. So I'll show you both of them when they're done, and we'll do a little taste test together. All right, guys, so the scones are done, and I'm going to taste them now. So a lot of lessons learned here. The first ones that I baked were the lemon lavender, and even though the recipe said 400 degrees, 18 to 20 minutes, I usually always put the lower time, which was 18 minutes in this case, but I don't know what happened. Maybe it's the baking dish that I'm using, but so this is what the scone looks like in the front, but it's a little bit burnt on the bottom, which was disappointing. I'm happy that I was testing the recipe out and that I wasn't actually, serving this to anyone today. So when I make the scones, the frozen batch, when I make them for the tea party, I've already learned my lesson. So I'm going to do 16 minutes because the second scone, which was, and actually I might even do less because the second scone was the cherry blossom with the carob chips, and the back is not as bad. So I think it's time to replace my baking sheet. The baking pan that I have, it's like a cookie sheet pan. I'm gonna change that. I think I probably just need to get a new one, and I'm gonna stick with 16 minutes, which is what I did for the second scone, the cherry blossom with the carob chips. I was also supposed to make a glaze for the lavender honey because the recipe has an optional glaze, which I really wanted to try. And it was, again, very simple. Honey, powdered sugar, and some milk or cream, but don't have any powdered sugar. So I wasn't able to make that. So I'm going to try it plain because I also don't have any more clotted cream. I ran out of that. But I always like to taste the scones plain as they are because that's a good indicator of the overall flavor. And then anything else that you put on it would just add to that. So I'm going to try the lavender honey scone, and hopefully the fact that it's a little burnt on the bottom doesn't, affect the taste too much. I like it. I think I'm just going to take the top part and not have any of the charred or the burnt on the bottom. Yeah. So if I eat the scone and I don't eat this bottom part, just the top part, this is perfect. I can taste the lavender, but it's not overwhelming where it will taste like soap, right? It's there, but it's subtle. And it's really good. And I think if I make the honey glaze, then I'll get more of the honey. Because right now I don't really taste the honey. I taste more of the lavender. But I think if I add that honey glaze, it'll be just perfect. So I really do like this one. It's a good recipe. I would just, again, I don't know if it was, again, the cookie tray that I was using, or if it was the time was just too much for, and that's what caused it to get a little brown. But keep that in mind, I guess, if you guys do this recipe. And then, of course, the cherry blossom. I've had this before last year, so I know that this is gonna taste great. But I'm gonna go ahead and eat. And this one you can eat plain. It tastes really good plain, or you can use with clotted cream. Delicious. I taste the cherry blossom and the carob, and they pair so nicely together. Again, if you use real chocolate, it's going to taste just as good. So delicious. Now, for the cherry blossom scones, I didn't look up a recipe. I just used my basic, the basic recipe for a plain scone, and I added 3 teaspoons of the sakura powder or the cherry blossom powder. I think 3 teaspoons is perfect because you can taste it. The sakura powder is very mild tasting, so I do 3 so that I can really get the cherry blossom taste. So I did 3 teaspoons of the cherry blossom powder, and then I did whatever was left in that bag of carob chips. So, I don't have an actual recipe for that, but again, if you do that, if you add the 3 teaspoons of cherry blossom powder to your base recipe for scones and as much chocolate chips as you want, you should be good. This one is excellent. I don't want to say that it's my favorite because I don't think it's fair, given that the other ones are a little burnt on the bottom and I don't have the glaze. But I am leaning more towards, I'm still really loving the cherry blossom scone because it's really delicious. But I'm gonna make these, I'm gonna bake them, right? Because I already put my batch in the freezer for when I have my tea party. So I'll have these again and I'll show them to you when I record my video for the tea party, and I'll show you what it looks like with the glaze and report back if they were better with the glaze and if the cherry blossom is still my favorite. So I'll report back on that. But thank you so much for watching this video. Again, just kind of a little prep video, prepping for my tea party that's coming up in a few days. Comment below if you would love to try one of these recipes. Which one would you try? The lavender honey? Do you like lavender? I know not everybody does. I love lavender, but some people don't like the taste. Would you try the cherry blossom one? Which recipe do you think that you would like to try? Or maybe you want to share another spring-inspired scone recipe with me. That would be great too, because I'm always looking for new recipes for scones. So anyway, thank you for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I will see you guys in the next one. Have a tea-rific day. Bye.